Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Anthony B. Lagura. Today, we will be learning about context. Specifically, we will be identifying what is context and the different types of context. Before we discuss about context, let us take a look into the following sentences and let us identify the meaning of the underlined word. For the first sentence, spring comes after winter. What do you think does the word spring mean? Very good, you actually got it right. Spring in this sentence means the season between winter and summer. How about in the second sentence? We jumped so hard that the bed springs broke. What do you think does the word springs in the sentence mean? Fantastic. The word springs means a twisted or coiled piece of metal that returns to its original shape when it is pressed down or stretched. How about in the third sentence? The water of this spring is always cold. What is the meaning of the word spring? Great job! The word spring in the sentence is a source of water from the ground. As you can observe, the word spring from these three sentences actually has different meaning or definition. The meaning of the word spring is actually influenced by the surrounding word or situations, and those words or situations are what we call context. So, what is context? Context is the situation in which something happens and that helps you to understand it. So, it is actually called a situational context in which the situation or the event that is happening in the sentence would help us in deciphering the meaning of a certain word. And context is also the words that come just before and after a word, phrase, or statement. So this is what we call the linguistic context, in which the word or the surrounding word or phrases would give us a clue or a hint on what is the meaning of that lexical item. The word context is actually influenced by these following factors. So first is the place and the setting. The time and place may influence the meaning of a certain word. So also it would be the culture. Culture actually influences the meaning of that certain word, or a word may be different from one ethnic group to another ethnic group, or a word may be different in meaning in a certain country to another country. Next would be the tone. It would be the rising and the falling intonation of the voice may influence the meaning of that certain word. So, how the speaker speak the word, may it be loud or soft, those factors will actually influence on the meaning of that certain lexical item. Next would be the linguistic background. So, the wider the linguistic repertoire of a student or a learner, the more that he could be able to associate more meaning or more definition of that certain word. Next would be the words being used or the words that surround that certain lexical item will help us in deciphering the meaning of that certain word. And also the situation, so the situational context, the event or the happenings that happened in a certain sentence may influence us in identifying the correct definition of that certain lexical item. There are two main types of context. First is the linguistic context, and second would be the physical context. So first, let us identify what is linguistic context. Linguistic context is actually called as context. So it is the set of words that surround the lexical item and usually affect its meaning. So let us take a look into the word bank. In the first sentence, Sicilian has to get to the bank to cash a check. So the phrase or the linguistic context cash a check actually give us a hint that it involves a money transaction. So that certain clue or hint would help us in identifying that the word bank means a financial institution. In the second sentence, Sicilian went to the bank and it was stepped and overgrown. So the phrase step and overgrown help us in determining that the word bank is actually a hill or a mound or a bank of a river. So with the use of or with the help of the linguistic context, the phrases, the word or a sentence that surround that lexical item will help us in identifying the correct meaning of that certain word. So next type of context is the physical context, or this is also called as the situational context. So it includes the situation, the time or place in which the words are used. So this also cover what is physically present around the speakers or the hearers at the time of the communication, what objects are visible, and where the communication is taking place. For example, if we see the word bank on the wall of a building in a city, that physical location will influence our interpretation. So with the help of the physical context or the situational context that there is a wall, that it's a building or is it's a establishment and it is located in the heart of a city, we can therefore conclude that the word bank would actually mean a financial institution. Similarly, if we are traveling and we find a signboard having water and it is written 300 meters away, we must come to know that the reverse bank is coming. So that situational context, that physical context of the signages or the signboard would actually help us that the river bank is coming. So those are the differences between linguistic context and the physical context. So I hope you learn a lot and check into my next video for you to be able to learn more about context.